Hello everybody, it is Ebontis, and today I want to talk to you guys about the secrets for our wonderful new exotic mission, Encore, or it's Encore Overture, however you want to call it. So for this one, what you need to do is first go through and beat the mission once, so just do that on normal. Go to the gunsmith, he's going to be where you can actually pick up this quest, which is going to have two things that you need to do. Secret chest opened, which can be done on any difficulty, and the exotic mission Encore beat on expert difficulty. Now, as I discussed in my guide previously, you can typically stockpile all of these up, so then you can have the secret chests done, which are usually easy to get to. They're, like, I did the whole mission solo. Getting to them definitely not going to be too bad. And then, once you're all done and ready with each of them, typically you've been able to go and run the exotic mission once and check all the boxes. That way you don't have to run the high difficulty version 4 different times. So if you start saving these up now, it's going to make life easier to run it just the one time. Now, the other thing you're going to need to do to be able to get to the chests themselves is during the exotic mission, which is pretty much where the story takes you straight there, you're going to need to get NES 007 and go through the quest steps for that. Now, the quest steps aren't overly difficult. They're pretty straightforward when you go to look at kind of what the requirements are. I'll try and put some of them on screen, but honestly, they're not exactly what I would call, like, stressful. So, first one is just defeat Vex with solar damage, whatever gun you've got. And if you need a whole bunch of Vex, my advice is for 2 of these steps. I use this multiple times. Go to the moon, go to Sorrow's Harbor, and then drive back over here, and then head off to the left-hand side where there's that big Vex gate, off to the left as you exit. So you'll go through this tunnel, pop out in kind of the big, Scarlet Keep kind of looking area over here, and then go left into the tunnel that's hard left over here. A lot of Vex over there to kill. A lot of them spawn in. First time I did it, there's like 72. Literally just load in, drive over there again. That was the fastest way I'd found to do that. So that's your first step when it comes to the 100 Vex that you need to kill with solar damage. That was pretty simple. Next one that you need to do, you need to kill Vex bosses. Now, it worked out that as I went through the section of killing all those Vex on the moon, the second time I went through there, the Vex boss that I needed to kill counted for the second step of this, so I was 50% done. Then, what I recommend going to is, if you will do the Arena Breach Executable. And while you're running this arena, you're going to be doing some type of objective that drops those little Vex cubes on the ground, the ones that you pick up and then deposit so you can get buffs as you go through it. Those are the extracted data that you need. It didn't look like I had enough, but when I eventually got back to finishing up just one run through, truly one. I tried to pick up a decent amount. Make sure you're depositing so you can keep picking them up once you're full. But when I finished, it was the extracted data was totally completed. So I don't know if it's 1 or 2 runs in there. Really not too bad. Arena Breach Executable seemed to work pretty well for me. So that's just my opinion. And then finally, this third step is just rapidly defeating Vex. So I just went back to the same place, back to the moon, back to that area, and knocked this one out pretty quickly. And between like the 2 steps that you're doing some of this on and depositing the, getting the encrypted data, beating a boss when you finish that, arena run, after beating the boss on the moon, between those 2 locations, you should be able to get everything done. If you know a better Vex location, that's totally fine. Once you're done with that, you'll head back to Failsafe. She's going to give you the prototype. You go, basically, or give you the material, go put it over on the shelf over there, and you're done with the quest. And you will have this. It's a discarded exo chassis interrogated by the conductor. But the big benefit is the conductor's imprint on the code. So you earn this one from doing the NES 007 quest, and it says the conductor left their imprint, and it unlocks a new hub in the Encore exotic mission. So at this point, this is where I'm talking about. You can do this on normal, but you're going to need to go into just the Encore mission itself, and you're going to need to activate one of those little Vex pillars in a specific room, and I'll show you where it's at once we get in there. So let me cut ahead. All right, so once you get to this section, You've probably made it here, jumping from over here. You've got all these different little slits in the wall to kind of figure out which one to go between. If you watch my guide, you know you can follow this one straight up. Here, same thing, wait for the lift to drop, take it up. And once you're up here, it's really not too bad, just drop down a level again. And then when you get in this room, you want to turn to your right. You want to look for this purple wall. I'll show you guys this in the full walkthrough, so if you need a way to get through here, then you're good. From here, what you're going to do is you'll see Sun12, my Sunderesh, chatting with you a little bit. But instead of going to the right, where all the Vex modules and everything begins over here, we're going to actually go to the left. Now, the first time I walked over here, there was nothing, like just the first time I played it. So if you check over here, you won't see anything first. Have to complete the mission, get the quest, get NES 007 completely done. You're going to have access to this. Now, when you interact with it, it's going to take a little bit to activate. And basically what you're going to be looking for are the little Vex boxes floating in the air. And you're going to look for a tiny little Vex box underneath it to signify which one you need to shoot. Pretty straightforward. But once you get to this point, you'll see these 4 boxes appear. And you'll see a little box underneath. So that means I need to shoot this one. And it's going to move to this one. And it's going to move to this one. And then this one. So that's halfway. Same thing's going to happen farther out. So you've got this one, this one, this one, and this one. So again, just shoot them in the right order. Follow the little cube. There you go. Simulation is now synced. That is going to give you your first little chest here. And that's going to access the ancillary network, the transit node that you need to be able to kind of work on the rest stuff. So that is kind of the first step to be able to do this. Now let me show you where some of the other secrets are in this mission. So when you get to this point, so you'll see basically the subjugator spawn first, part second. You'll see the big Hydra spawn in here for half a second. And you'll have all these enemies, and you've got these couple orbs on each side. And this room should look very specific. There's only really one going to be like it. Snipers up in the top, of course. And then you've got one independent variable, pretty easy to take out. They do teleport a lot, though, so be ready for that. So you're going to get your partition mod, get that one picked up, and then work your way up here. You're also going to start, if you have like Wombo detector on, which I've had on for pretty much the entire episode, you'll start seeing the little pickups that you can get. Now, you'll notice if you want to pick up the actual, like, you know, materials that you can deposit later for drops, you could do that first. But what you're going to want to do is access this node here. And you're going to see the ancillary transit nexus gate is activated. That's the thing that we activated at the start of the mission. If you don't do this at the start, then you won't be able to access these probably for every successive week in the future. I think you're going to have to access the ancillary network possibly every time you run the mission that you want to do any of the secret stuff, so just be aware that you don't want to miss that if you're trying to run these. I'm going to run around and pick these things up real quick, and then we'll go in. Alright, so picking up that stuff's optional. If you're just running here for the secrets, you can skip them, but I did want to pick those up. You're going to come into this room. You may transfer through this room a couple of times, but once you get in here, if you walk straight forward and then go left, this is the portal that should be active right now. And this teleport is actually going to take you back to the very beginning. Notice the portal's going to stay open. We can go back through it. So what we're going to do is when you activate this, you're going to see little trickles of light, kind of like the Vex public event, that point you where to go. Alright, so once you activate that, the little lines will appear, but if you don't find them in time, you're just going to have a few enemies that spawn. You're going to have basically a couple of Harpies, and then one Hydra sitting up here. Pretty easy to take out, and then you're going to get another attempt. It's not a big deal. So I did want to show you that one. But yeah, once you walk over here, you would disrupt the Matrix, and then, or the Conflux, and then we're going to go around and find them all. I know where they all are now, so if you just follow my path, I'll point each of them out, and you can do them as a solo person. Might want to reload whatever you're going to shoot these things with, just to make sure you can get the shots off that you want to. Alright, so when you disrupt, we're just going to go this direction here to the left and follow this one over to the wall. all the way over here. And this one, if you turn, look back right here, it's tucked on this wall here. And then if you come over this direction, this one looks like, as you can see, it looks like it goes through this pillar. And you got to keep going past this statue, back up here in the corner. This one's on the back side. You'll get a little extra time as you do each of these. The third one you're going to see is right here in the middle. So if you just find the pillar and go straight opposite, you should be able to follow it straight to where it's going. Fourth one, on the opposite side of this tree, you actually can see it going into the tree if you trace it over, all the way there. Straight into the tree. Backside, you've got it right here. And then your fifth one, if you come around this corner past the portal, don't go in the portal, come over here, and you'll find it right here. When you hit all 5, simulation should sync, and you should be able to pick up your chest. And as you do this, you're going to get your frame upgrade for the weapon. So the frame is going to be the thing that upgrades the stats a little bit. Still something you want to get, but not exactly related to the catalyst secret. So even as of right now, doing the first 2 chests that I've done, you can see that this still has not been completed. So we've got one more thing to do this week. Again, to basically prep this, so when we're finally done with all of them, then you can go run the expert mission. So go back in the portal, proceed forward through the mission, and when you get to the point right before the boss where you kind of check on the computer with Maya Sunderesh talking to you and stuff like that, I'll show you where it's at, but we're going to proceed forward through the mission. So truly go back through the portal, and then just go through the mission as normal up until where I show you. So let me go ahead and cut ahead, and I'll show you guys where that one's at. Alright, so after you go through and beat the Tormentor and the Subjugator, could have the wrong name on the Subjugator, sorry about that, and then you progress through a couple of the traversal sections with some floating hydras in the air. You can run past a lot of that if you want to, actually, outside of the hydras, probably to activate a portal or something. When you get to this point here, you're going to have this instance where you can actually listen to the dialogue if you want to. And you're going to see this pillar here for the first time. First time you go through the mission, it's not here. It's kind of hard to miss. That's why you didn't see it. So now when you access this one, similar thing is going to happen. Ancillary Transit Network Gate activated. None of that's possible without that first step. And again, same thing, come in here, and we're going to get a new puzzle. So I'm going to go through and kind of give an explanation for this one so you can kind of figure it out as we go. Okay, so when you walk in this room, you're going to see Vex module access. 2 of the blue ones sitting on the ground. One over here on the left, one over here on the right. Sometimes you're going to have some Fanatic spawning. I think if you do enough progression or attempts or possibly fails, I think, you might see a Wyvern that appears in the middle, so make sure you got some ammo to work with. I do have a machine gun, but I think it's a little bugged at the moment. Either way, we're going to start on the far left. So when you enter, just turn to the left, and then we're going to kind of work from there. So you can see when you enter any of the portals, initially, you're going to have a kind of little Vex apple-looking thing, whatever you want to call that, that is available to be shot. Like, it'll take damage numbers. Then, when you come out of whatever portal you're in, you're going to see that you can go across to, if you follow the line, it's going to shoot to another one. So I'm going to follow this one over here. And I'm going to pop my other one right in this one, here. And you can see that this portal is now going to shoot over here. That's the next one I'm going to progress to. So, we head back to the front. We're going to start the sequence and try and do this in order with those 2 already in place. When I come out of a portal that I'm done using, I'm going to pick up the access module so I can take that to the next thing that I'm going to. So if we come in here to the left, we can shoot this from pretty far away. When we come out, we don't need to go in here anymore, so I'm going to pick this one up. And you can see when I come in here, that this one is available. So then when I come outside, I know that this line connects over here. And I'm done with this portal, so I'm going to pick this up. And then when I come back out, looks like I'm going to go over there. So again, here, come in, shoot the apple for the connection. Come back out. If I follow my line across, looks like it's going over here. So I'm going to take my access module that I picked up previously. I'm going to go through here. That means this one's now available. And they all have about a minute timer on them. So you got to do this in sequence. So if I'm done in here, and I know this one goes all the way across over there, I'm going to take the previous one that I'm not using, and I always try and do the previous because I've had some of these like box and lock out. Open this one up, and now that connection's going to be done when I go through here. This is the one that's available. Then when you come back out, the box should be available.
This is Maya. .6i.
And find and destroy the Vex pods with the gatekeeping. And if you check your quests, that should now have the secret chest be opened. And then you just have to run this on expert. I'm going to let her keep talking, and then I'm going to wrap this up. Alright, so that's your main sequence of events, how this works. You need to basically clear out everything at the top. So as I said, whichever one I was in, I had the Vex module deposited. And then whichever one I was going to, so say like this one went across, then my second access module I would deposit in here. And make sure whichever one you're going to, that the module is basically there and then connected to the next one. So once I came into this one here and shot the little module that was inside, then I picked this one up, and say if this one connected to the left, I put it over here. And that way, whichever beam is connected to a gate, therefore this thing lights up, that way, if that one's activated, you should have access to be able to shoot each one of those. And if you do what I did in the order I showed you, you should be in good shape. So, that pretty much wrapped this one up. Now, if you just go run it on Expert, I would advise doing that with a group. Right now, there is no Fireteam matchmaking. If Fireteam matchmaking comes into play, I think doing this with a group would be reasonable. But also, as with previous exotic quests, it seems like you can just stock these things up. So that's my goal, is to stock all of these up and then do them all on the final week. But I will get you your secrets with related secrets that are related to these chests in a weekly video as well. So thanks for tuning in. If you enjoy the content, hit that subscribe button, hit the alert bell, and I'll see you soon.